Hi, this is Deadman. If you're watching this video, I assume you're old enough to see gore, violence, swearing, and general adult content. If you aren't old enough, come back with some ID.
Or a fake one.
Ugh.
Why do you do that?
Do what?
Check your guns.
You never know.
It's a program. They get loaded every time the exact same way.
Hume teaches us that no matter how many times you drop a stone and it falls to the floor, you never know what'll happen the next time you drop it. It might fall to the floor, but then again it might float to the ceiling. Past experience can never prove the future.
So
You never know.
here we go. We're in.
The digital code rain as the loading screen is a win. Matrixifying your developer logo with the horns included.
Look at him. Like flies to cow pies, crawling over every drop we ever used.
The opening shot is, of course, the code of the Matrix, along with the pan out to show that a good chunk of the cutscenes are live action. Both Wachowskis were involved in directing the scenes, and they're canon to the movie. Enter the Matrix takes place right before and during the events of Reloaded.
We didn't have a lot of time.
A lot of time. Wrong, we don't have a little time.
Yeah, but what else is new?
Look, I don't mean to be Mr. Naysay, but you really think you got a chance in hell at getting to that thing before they find it?
The it they're referring to is a package left behind by the Osiris, which is one of the shorts found in the Animatrix. Definitely loving the interconnectedness of properties without it being necessary to view. Granted, the live-action scenes wouldn't work without them, but it really helps sell that this is canon and a part of the Matrix story by having the actual actors back and voicing the lines when not in live action.
Thaddeus was my friend. I knew him. He never used to drop before. He didn't trust him. Whatever's in that box cost Thaddeus his life and the lives of his crew. And I have a feeling if we don't get to it first, it's gonna cost us a whole lot more.
A couple of sentences shows just how important this mission is, especially considering the overwhelming force of the machines.
So are you red or blue on this?
Cute callback to the red or blue pills.
Because I know how valued my opinion is on this ship, I won't bother to tell you that I think it's insane for you not to wait for a support team. And for the record, when I cart your bodies back to Zion, do you prefer cremation or the gardens?
Sparks, your faith in us remains a source of personal inspiration.
Well, I am what I am, and I do what I can.
Then can you shut up and hit the button?
Your wish, Captain. My captain is my keystroke : / execute command.
Sparks being a snarky bitch with Ghost and Niobe firing back makes me wish we could have more time with them. Getting to see the jack into the Matrix when you choose your character or load your save is always fun.
Why do you do that?
Do what?
Check your guns.
You never know.
It's a program. They get loaded every time the exact same way.
Hume teaches us that no matter how many times you drop a stone and it falls to the floor, you never know what'll happen the next time you drop it. It might fall to the floor, but then again it might float to the ceiling. Past experience can never prove the future.
Philosophy lessons. Also, that's good advice all around. I love how the level loads in and the phone just drops on the table.
And hey, can you ask Ghost if he doesn't make it? Can I have his boots?
Sparks, the elevator shut down.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I've got a blueprint online. It's too bad that elevator would have worked.
Yeah, but I don't think Occam's Razor.exe works in this version of the Matrix. Sparks will pop in occasionally and give you helpful hints on what to do next. Fun fact, actors and stunt doubles for mocap to really sell the unique fighting styles of the characters, since the melee combat is where the game really shines. It's fun, as well as having all the sound effects used in the movies to be snappy, and makes you really feel like Neo.
I know Kung Fu. Oh no.
Don't go up, I think they're expecting you!
You're a tad late on that one, Sparks. While the music wasn't composed by Don Davis, Eric Lundborg did a fantastic job emulating his style to keep the feel of the game close to the movie. The focus gauge is easily the best feature of the game. At any time, you can slow the game down to bullet time, and even do special moves like the one I showed. I demand that going forward, all games have a feature like this. Not only does it make combat a bit easier, but you can also slow down at any point and make you feel like an action hero.
Find a spot where you can get onto the belt and ride it until it takes you over the P.O. box room.
And no one's supposed to see me when I'm up there.
Just act invisible.
Since Deadman hasn't said anything yet, I will. The camera is mapped to Southpaw, and there's no way to change it. I'm sure part of it is 20 years of gaming. We've gotten a little spoiled over the years, but there's no reason the camera should be this jank on a PS2 game.
Niobe is a badass. Wait! Goes to the rescue.
What the hell happened to you?
Ghost created a distraction.
A distraction? Is there a part of the building didn't set on fire?
Here we go. Now, when I say go, I want you to run for that big window in front of you and jump through it. Trust me, this is gonna be fine, I think.
Confidence? I like that it asks you to jack back in when you reach the game over screen.
It's here! I found the exit!
Well, you thought you did. Having the agent duck under the frame is a great way to not have to animate the after images.
Thaddeus, captain of the Osiris. It is 1803 on 1214, and I fear this will be our last transmission. Less than 2 hours ago, we were pinned between two search units near BZ-218. We tried to outrun them on the surface when our sensors went completely berserk. We didn't believe what our equipment was telling us, until we ran smack into the middle of it. An army. Their army. It's massive. Hundreds of times the size of anything we fought.
And in case you were wondering how Zion knew to mobilize a defense against the machines, well, this is how. Again, I love how you don't need to know this, but it still fleshes out the world and gives you extra context.
You have reached the Daniel Institute of Dream Interpretation. Please record your message at the tone.
I am calling to confirm that your order of red orchids will be delivered tomorrow by midnight.
That's a handy way of getting a message out.
Yeah, lucky for him, not so lucky for us. It's Axel.
Shit. What do you want to do?
See if you can help Soren. I'll go after Axel.
Well, good luck.
I'm certainly due for some.
I'm loving that the snappy dialogue wasn't sacrificed when making this game compared to the movies. Enter the Matrix does a great job at conveying the brown pants levels of terrifying the agents are. There's a handful of levels where you just run, else the agents will stunlock you to death. Niobe is a badass. There's nothing more satisfying than kicking an agent off of a plane.
You know, there's a lot of guys who wouldn't have done what you did. I thank you for it.
You would have.
It was that or kill you.
I'm just glad fate brought you to the airport.
I'm not sure you'll agree with that tomorrow.
Honesty.
I can only assume you're sending me back in.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
I don't think I can state how awesome it is to take down 3 heavily armed SWAT guys with Kung Fu.
Fuck sniper Overwatch sections.
Hey now, some of them are fun.
Not this one.
Anyone moves, and her brains are Jackson Pollock.
Smart thinking. While in the Merovingian chateau, you have to fight off his programs that are so hard to kill they're basically vampires. So now you just stake everything. Secret bookshelves are always a win. Heh, lad.
Why is that a win?
You know, because lad, Dracula. Wooden stake? Come on, surely you noticed that too.
I did. I just want to see you further with your explanation.
Ass.
But I see it. There. Creating such heat. Back off.
Whoa, no touchy. No touchy. No touch.
If you want me to help you, all you must do is kiss me, as though you were kissing them.
Persephone really does have a thing for being in love, doesn't she? And here I thought Neo was the only one offered that deal, but nope. Niobe and Ghost are offered that deal for her to help with the simple payment of a kiss.
If you kiss me, as if you were kissing your true love, I'll tell you where your friend is. How about I shoot you in your kneecaps instead? You're not afraid to kiss a woman, are you? You're not a woman. You're not even human. Oh God, that was awful. I wish you had shot my kneecaps instead.
Damn, that's brutal.
Your lover is a man. What's his name? Jason. No. No, it's not.
Perceptive.
You know that joke only works when being read, right? It's not a very good one at that.
Well, the people wanted good jokes, then they made a mistake coming here.
Operator.
Is the exit clean?
As vestal as my bunghole.
Sparks is a delight.
Good. You do not truly know someone until you fight them. Come with me.
Only thing you know about me is I was about to kick your ass.
Niobe, I have something to tell you. There's a strategy to counterattack the machines using the ship's EMPs.
How many ships?
All of them. Except yours.
What?
I convinced the council that the Logos was too small, the EMP too weak to have an impact.
That's not true.
Maybe, but it's done.
Jason, I am a captain, same as every captain.
No, you're not the same. You're the woman I love.
I get where he's coming from, but that doesn't make Locke any less scummy. Also, knowing what we know about his character, it's probably driven by a bit of sexism as well.
The truth is, the path of the one is made by the many.
Are there two among you that would answer such a call?
Each of us has our own steps to take, our own choices to make.
Captain Niobe of the Logos will answer the counselor's call.
And if but one fails, all fail.
We get more context behind Locke's reaction, as well as why Niobe's decision to help Neo was cemented. Even if she doesn't believe in the one, they're still facing utter annihilation, and literally anything is better than sitting on your ass and waiting things out. I know it's in the movie, but we get a playable section to Overpass with Mona Lisa Overdrive.
Oh, I can't watch this.
Love how Sparks says he can't watch it, but is totally watching it. It's like a train wreck, you just can't look away.
I know you're both listening to me about as much as you're listening to this poll here, so I'll just tell you what I think. I think you just spent 8 of your 9 lives getting out of there. And if you turn around and go right back in, I don't think you're just pushing your luck. I don't think you're crazy. I think you have a death wish, a major, full-on Bronson. Since your lives obviously mean nothing to you, I ask you to try to think of something that does have meaning. Namely, my life.
Sparks, shut up.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Sparks is such a drama queen, and I'm here for it.
All I've ever asked from this world is that when it's my time, let it be for something, not of something.
And that's a pretty good wish out of life.
It looks like a grenade launcher. But why is it in a nuclear power plant?
It's used for nuclear accidents where it's impossible to reach a fire with hoses or extinguishers. The gun fires a pressurized cartridge, which explodes, releasing CBM gas. Puts out fires by robbing them of oxygen. One side effect is it causes human lungs to fill with liquid, effectively drowning them.
That is horrifying.
The Merovingian warned me that if I made a certain choice, it would cost me. He is, among other things, a man of his word.
What was the choice?
The same one you yourself will have to make. The choice to help Neo or not.
One nice thing about this little side story is it gives a few extra explanations, such as how the Oracle looks different.
The end. Are you trying to tell me the world is going to end?
Yes. If we cannot save it, it will end.
You mean Neo?
I mean we. The path of the one is made by the many. I have a role to play, just as you have yours.
I really like the emphasis on this. Just because Neo is the one doesn't mean he can do it all on his own.
Damn, not who I was hoping for. But perhaps you can help me find him.
You're an agent?
Oh, no, not anymore.
Then what are you?
Me? I suppose you could say I'm the Alpha of your Omega. I am the beginning of your end.
Smith is always hella creepy, and I love it. Hugo Weaving is always a win. Having to run for your life against a horde of Smiths is tense.
Niobe, I'm really struggling here trying to keep up, but I'm losing the plot. There's way too much weird shit going on around here, and nothing is going the way it's supposed to go.
My thoughts after watching The Matrix for the first time.
This particular driving section is just awful. There's no way to outrun the Sentinels and not crash into every single goddamn pipe underground. If I could go into the third person like any other section, it may not be as bad. But as is, I hate this section.
Why do you do that?
Do what?
Check your guns.
It's a bit of a disappointment there isn't a lot of difference between the two scenarios.
One noticeable change is during driving sections, you're the gunner. Listen, this game has its faults, sure. But no other game has let me cartwheel and shoot a helicopter with a big-ass sniper rifle in bullet time. Fighting vampires in a burning attic is an epic set piece.
Oh my. Unrequited love. Such longing for something you will never have. How deliciously tragic.
We get to know a little more about Ghost with his unrequited love being Niobe.
You call that concentration?
I didn't think you'd have the guts to come back here after the last ass whipping I gave you.
That, dear brother, was an act of pure mercy, having beaten you now. How many times? Gosh, I guess I lost count when it hit double digits.
That, dear sister, was typical of the coddling members of my sex must bestow upon members of your sex to cajole them into playing.
Oh yeah, that's it. You've done it again. You'll eat those words and half the rocks in this garden.
I love that we get to see more relationships than the movie has time to add. Because in all honesty, after years of working together, all of the red pills would be close to each other.
Kierkegaard reminds us that belief has nothing to do with how or why. Belief is beyond reason. I believe because it is absurd.
Philosophy lessons.
When are we gonna find you a girlfriend?
Like Augustine, I'm dedicated to a higher purpose.
What's that?
Onanism.
Is that why so many saints are blind?
Celibacy is a hands-on job.
Masturbation jokes. Huh. Never thought that would be a win.
If we fail, Neo fails. And that cannot happen at any cost.
Believing in the cause, even if you don't believe in the one.
I don't remember your face, but I remember your heart. You asked me one question. If she would ever love you. I told you only as a friend, as her brother. Yes, I remember that smile. I recall asking what you were thinking, but I can't remember what you said.
I thanked you.
Why?
Because I felt freed.
From what?
Expectation.
We get to see even more of his unrequited love, and even if he's not necessarily happy with it, he's content to be loved in a different way.
Can you tell me what happened to you?
2 programs that I trusted sold the termination code of my original shell to the Merovingian.
Why did they do that?
For love. For the life of their child.
You knew about it, and yet you let it happen.
I had to.
Why?
Because the child is important. I can't tell you why, but I believe that one day the child will change both our world and your world forever.
The Oracle ends up being right in more ways than one.
Each of us must find courage when we are most afraid to do what we must. That is our only hope.
The almost literal definition of bravery. Okay, this is better. Being the gunner while the NPC drives is a lot less frustrating.
What do you think will happen after that?
I don't know. But I got a feeling it's gonna be one hell of a ride.
Accurate. Also, apparently this game, while filling in some plot details, also acts as a playable ad for the Matrix Revolutions. I seriously love that this ties into the movies without being necessary to fill out the plot of the movies. It's definitely a fun experience, but I'll admit my enjoyment was hampered by it being kinda janky to play and having issues keeping the video signal from cutting out. So I ended up having to restart levels because I didn't capture the footage, and that sucks. The story revolves around what Ghost and Niobe are doing prior to and during Reloaded. It's nice to get to see what the support cast is up to, especially because in key moments, all plans would have failed if not for them. Eric Lundborg made the compositions for the game in the style of Don Davis, who composed the movie OSTs, and honestly, if I didn't look up that information, I would have just assumed they used the OST for the movie. Other than the audio not always looping in the best places, which isn't the fault of the actual track, every track in the Matrix game is wonderful and really helps sell that you're playing a Matrix game. Gameplay has you kung-fuing everyone, or shooting them depending on the context. Both situations are handled incredibly well, especially considering the camera is not set up optimally. It's a good thing Shiny had the foresight to add auto-aiming when using the gun. The graphics are... well, they're pretty rough, not gonna lie. Granted, this is a game from the early 2000s, but damn, you're hard to look at. I think Weasel sums it up perfectly.
Look like somebody turned your face inside out and then just left it like that, but then you got in a house fire. God, you look like a house fire was in another house fire. Your head looks like some sort of crystal that you would see at a 2-bit psychic. You look like a trash can full of shit was placed on your shoulders.
All joking aside, I had a fun time with this game. I had previously played Path of Neo, but was never able to play this one until now. I really enjoyed learning more about the world of one of my favorite series, and with Resurrections out alongside the Awakens Unreal Engine demo, well, I hope we end up seeing more Matrix games. Thank you for watching, and try not to die out there.
Well, it's nice to have something to look forward to.
Indeed it is.
Jack in! Mega Man! Power up!
Take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Matrix loading screen gets a win. Burly Brawl developer logo. I do love the main menu is a floating red pill, marking off the catalyst of Neo's adventures. love the way the title screen is introduced.
Perhaps I was wrong about you, Neo. I'm sorry you won't be joining us.
You have the option of blue pilling for an early end.
This is the very beginning of the game. Why is he decked out in his leather gear?
There's a playable section foreshadowing the rescue of Morpheus, and it acts as a skill check to see what difficulty is best for you.
I know why you're here, Neo. I know why you hardly sleep, why you live alone, and why night after night you sit at your computer.
It's a bummer there wasn't an original story for this one. It's just rehashing the trilogy with extra nonsense put in for gameplay.
Remember, do exactly as I say. The cubicle across from you is empty. Go, now.
On the flip side, the extra nonsense fleshes out some parts that were glossed over.
They're unimportant and break canon,
Okay, but it does give us a fun game.
relatively speaking.
The pause screen shows the Matrix coding with Neo as gold since he's the one. Playing Matrix Gear Solid is interesting, but this is before Thomas Anderson becomes Neo, so naturally he's not going to come out swinging.
This Anderson guy's either slick or stupid. Probably locked himself in a room somewhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in his shoes when those suits get hold of him.
Oh, you guys are so getting blue-pilled.
Have you seen Mr. Anderson?
Anderson? No, I haven't. If I do, I'll be sure to let you know.
Oh wow, she didn't sell me out. Red pill for you. The difference between the game and movie Mr. Anderson is the game version isn't a coward. I'm kidding, this is part of the fleshing out that was done to give us some more gameplay. Okay, maybe the movie version had a point.
I can't do this. Miller! Take her back to the roof! Hurry!
Random construction workers are super helpful.
In a hurry to meet someone, Mr. Anderson?
Yes, I'm in a hurry to meet the real Smith. Give me back Hugo Weaving, you bastard. All kidding aside, Lawrence Fishburne was the only actor to reprise his role, and while that is a bummer, all of the replacement actors do a fantastic job mimicking these iconic roles. Trinity to the rescue.
Welcome to my world, Neo. How's the signal?
It's a little loud. Is this better?
Yes, immensely. As an operator, you should know not to deep-throat the mic.
Where am I? This, my friend, is a series of combat training simulations.
You get to play through Neo's training programs.
Works like a video game tutorial.
Funny meta joke because it is a video game tutorial.
You want me to kill him?
It's not real. Just pretend he's your old boss.
Or new boss, if you know what I'm saying. Once you start unlocking the powers of the One, you get this awesome-looking skill tree. You even get cool Matrix Vision previews of your new abilities.
I knew you would come. Your blade skills are legendary. Today, you will learn that mine are as well.
I mean, if you're going to be in a training program, you may as well have the Ultra Weeb settings to the max for a little fun. I'll never tire of watching the world load in. Well, the training module crashing is as good a reason to learn wall running as anything else.
Excellent swordplay, Neo. With a focused mind, nothing can stand between you and the path you choose.
Compliments and great advice.
That's a new record!
Suck it, Morpheus' old record. Getting to play the iconic fight between Neo and Morpheus is awesome. Wait, are you mad I broke your record? Morpheus? Send help! The long hallway and sliding doors is a nice homage to the Animatrix.
What the hell?
Neo! Stupid glitch in the Matrix. Why won't you let me have nice things? Oh yeah, breaking walls gets a win. Loving you can still do crazy bullet time shenanigans, and this time around there's more to the system.
Neo, go grab the grenade launcher. We may need it later.
Try, we'll need it always. There's no situation that can't be improved by launching some grenades.
Blow the jetpack now!
The digital loading in of the lobby shootout is awesome. Bullet time pouching an agent off of a roof is equally as satisfying as kicking them off a cargo plane.
Trinity!
Only human.
We don't need this.
Yes, we get the iconic bullet time scene.
But for some reason, they gave Trinity a worse one-liner.
We get to operate the chain gun on the helicopter. Time to save Morpheus. Oh yeah, showdown with Smith.
Going, Mr. Anderson. We're not done here.
Well, that's not fair at all.
I love the Matrix for giving me these anime as fuck fights. I need someone a lot smarter than me to explain what I'm looking at. What kind of Alice in Wonderland hell did I walk into?
Well, considering there are evolutions to Alice.
Yes, I'm well aware of that. That's the joke.
There should be an emergency stop cord somewhere in the train. But the train car might be upside down. Does that make any sense to you?
No, but it wouldn't surprise me now.
Getting to face off with the agents after unlocking the One is fantastic.
Between the coming of the One and the end of the war, Neo's presence within the Matrix sparked a new exodus of potentials. But because they were unable to stop Neo, the machines turned their attention to those within their grasp. Sentinels set a trap for one of our ships, and from the ship's mainframe, they extracted a list of potentials. The agents leveled their wrath on the helpless, and Neo was the only one who could stand against them.
That's a succinct way of explaining the line in Reloaded where Morpheus stated,
Consider that in the past 6 months, we have freed more minds than in 6 years.
plus you actually get to play the section and help free these people. Getting to God mode fly over the city is a neat way of choosing your targets. Neo's Supermaning is a great loading screen.
Either you're very wise or totally cracked.
I find it a bit disturbing that the newspaper for the Matrix has the word Sentinel in it. You know, like the Squidlies?
I'd like the key, please.
Please? You may be an idiot, but I can't fault your manners.
Politeness. The music that's playing is catchy. That deserves some wins, right? I think it deserves some wins. Having a shootout in a library is not something I thought I'd ever put on my gamer resume. And a Matrix acknowledgement. Kicking the asses of 3 agents is always a fun time.
What the hell is going on?
The meeting's been ambushed. Roland was right. Too many of us in one place. We attracted too much attention.
Part of the whole gotta add new gameplay segments to the movies is rescuing the captains. At least the additions make sense, right?
Keep telling yourself that.
The fight with Seraph took an interesting turn. That's a nice meta joke.
Hey! Hey! Sit down! You're blocking my view! Sit down!
Can't say I blame him. The fight scenes are great.
The guy in the black jacket is the savior of mankind. And this fight with the other guy is some kind of test, right? Right? Nah, too far-fetched.
Meta jokes. Oh yes, playable burly brawl.
Can't do it without some help, Mr. Anderson?
Pretty sure that's the pot calling the kettle black. We get the epic fight scene in the Merovingian chateau. Is there an epic fight we don't get to partake in? What am I looking at, Neg?
It appears to be something wholly new to pad the game out.
That's not necessarily bad, right?
Depends on how you look at it. I personally don't like it as it's a pain in the ass.
True, but at least they tried something new. I'll take what the actual fuck is that for $200, Alex.
Just gotta say, fuck this boss fight. It's needlessly frustrating on top of being filler bullshit.
This is another new addition to the last mission of Reloaded, but it isn't as vexatious as the Chateau mission. You know, for being a stressful mission, the music is at least pleasant.
One thing we've learned is if one is not enough, then keep adding more, and more, and more.
He's not technically wrong.
How much more dangerous can it be?
There's your answer, Neo.
That is not good.
And I firmly believe that these awful, horrible, violent video games are offensive to our most basic values. What the hell are you boys doing?
The army of Smiths is here to stop you from spreading your hate speech. I gotta admit, having the burly brawl, but in Congress, is kind of awesome. I mean, I'm beating Smiths down with a flagpole. I'm pretty sure there's some hidden meaning I'm too dumb to comprehend, but the fight itself is pretty metal. Oh yeah, we get to play the final showdown with Smith.
The rest of me is just going to watch, Mr. Anderson.
Politeness. Or as polite as you can be when you're trying to take over the world.
Hi, I'm Andy Wachowski.
And I'm Larry Wachowski.
Or rather, these are the digital projections of our mental selves.
This is new. Definitely throws you for a loop since the game is breaking the fourth wall by having the Wachowskis talking directly to the player. It's brilliant, actually, since the final fight is good for cinema, but bad for games.
First of all, congrats on reaching the final stage of this game. You kick ass.
Yes, we salute your excellence on the gaming field.
The Wachowskis directly commented on my mad gamer skills. I feel so validated.
Now, the real reason we're here is to discuss the big problem we faced in turning these 3 movies into a video game. You see, at this point in the story, Neo stands on the verge of Satori, ready to resolve the paradox of choice and choicelessness, of free will versus fate, but that can only be achieved through an act of surrender, which occurs after he has abandoned the perspectival nature of truth, accepting the totality of present consciousness, which ultimately allows an evolutionary transition.
Transcending the Cartesian dilemma through the emergence of demon spirit, which then provides the world with a choice of a third path, the path of Neo, the path of P.
You promised you wouldn't do that.
Shit. Sorry.
That's just too funny not to win.
I think what my brother's trying to say is, at this point, it's martyr time. Now, maybe that works in a movie, but in a video game, the Jesus thing is, well...
lame.
Really lame. If you're like us, then right now you're ready for 15 minutes of sweaty-palmed, button-pushing action to kick the crap out of some big badass boss.
So we suggested to Shiny that we change the ending.
We thought it would be cool after Smith rose up screaming, "It's my world." The other Smiths jumped onto him, merging into one massive monster mega Smith.
See? They directly acknowledged that the game needed to have a different final boss. Now that's a final boss! The giant smith made up of regular-sized smiths, vehicles, and buildings are awesome on its own, but it goes over the top by giving him giant sunglasses. It's not a final boss fight until someone throws a building at you. I guess that's doubly so since Kaiju Smith is made out of buildings? I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little confused. Doesn't matter if it's game or movie, both Neo and Smith exploded to a glorious beacon of light. We Are the Champions is an interesting way to end a Matrix game, but it's fitting, and more importantly, it's Queen. Queen always gets a win. So, Path of Neo is not a strong entry. I'll get into it in just a bit, but there was so much that was changed, and honestly, it had to for it to work. The game ended up being kinda weird. I remember reading one review that said if you weren't already a fan, don't get it because you'll be lost, and that's probably the most apt review that could be made for this game. The story is, well, it's the story of the original trilogy, so it's good, technically. Playing the game, you can figure out pretty quickly where you're at in the story, but the cutscenes are tangentially related to the movies. Sometimes there are fun edits from later on that make sense, and other times it felt like they had some time to kill, so they threw whatever in that was available. As much footage from the movies was used, I'm fairly surprised to say there are original tracks to the game, composed by Tobias Ennis, Juno Reactor, Junkie XL, and the Crystal Method. All the tracks are fantastically done, with the majority of the tracks being even better than Into the Matrix. The gameplay is noticeably improved from Enter the Matrix, with you being able to actually turn your camera whenever, as opposed to previously being limited to southpaw. The more advanced controls were harder to pull off, and just as hard to remember at times, but it does feel reminiscent of something like Devil May Cry, with you being able to execute stylish moves. The graphics were another noticeable improvement, with Neo actually looking like Keanu Reeves, rather than a super polygonal version of himself. The new environments made for the game all look great, along with having some neat locales meant to flesh out the game. And is something I meant to add to my Enter the Matrix review, but I forgot to put it in. I still don't think the graphics are very good. They're better than Enter the Matrix, but they're still not very good. I mean, games like Kingdom Hearts and Devil May Cry, just as two examples at the time, they had much better graphical fidelity than either of these two games. In closing, Path of Neo is technically a good game, but it's hampered by not being an original story, especially when Enter the Matrix brought a lot to the story. It's a bit of a letdown, but it's still a decently fun game. It's also another example, the same as with Enter the Matrix, on why you shouldn't rush games out. This game could have been a lot more polished and better had it been given more time, just the same as Enter the Matrix. So, if these two games have any kind of takeaway whatsoever, just don't rush your damn games. Thank you for watching, and try not to die.